How's I and I today? I hope I. And basically in English, I basically said, I hope y'all are okay and y'all have an amazing day and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot. Let me get cracking, let me get to it and whatnot. And whatnot and whatnot. How many whatnots am I gonna fucking say, please? Stop. Okay. Let's start again. So today my topic is going to be about options and how having so many options can make us feel like we're daunted. Yeah. And what options am I talking about? Having a life purpose, a life goal. If you feel like you're at a certain age and you still haven't figured out what exactly it is that you want to do in life, and you feel like there's some sort of timeline or pressure or schedule, you somehow feel like you're off track and you're supposed to be on some different path and and all this stuff. Yeah, all of these things that kind of cramp us down, have us vibrating at some lower frequency, because we genuinely believe that there is such a thing as being on our path and off our path. But there isn't, because if you think about it, even the worst things that have ever happened to you, they've shaped you to become exactly who you are now. Even the shitty things that have happened, yeah, there's certain people that you've met out of them, certain situations that have come out of them, or certain lessons that you've learned out of them that have helped you further able to either manage different situations or completely avoid them altogether. So if those situations hadn't occurred, then you wouldn't have become the person that you are. So if there is such a thing as being on track and being off track, then how is it that all of our life experiences bring us exactly to who we are and exactly to where we need to be with the people who we are surrounded? Or are you trying to say that basically you're supposed to be somebody completely different? And obviously we all have that I think it's just a humanistic nature to kind of believe that you are supposed to be different from who you are currently. But the truth of the matter is, that's just something that's pulling you to growth. But the truth of the matter is, who you are at any time and given moment is exactly who you was meant to be in that time or given moment. You was not meant to be anybody else. You was not meant to be doing anything else. Like that deep pressure, that pressure we really do put on ourselves to, like, we're chasing this plan, this so-called plan, this pre-planned plan that we somehow had before we came here. But even the desires and things that you have right now are due to your environment. If you grew up in a different environment, you would be desiring different things. You would be a completely different person. So what I'm basically trying to say is, you're never off path. You're never off path. Let that bit go. Let that go. And once you let that go, you can sort of maneuver and live your life through the present moment, yeah? And forget about everything else. Forget about the past, forget about the future, all of that stuff, yeah? Think about, what is it that I'm doing in the present moment? What is I doing right now? Because if I'm spending time stressing about things that haven't even happened yet, but I could be using that same amount of energy to do exactly what it is that I feel I need to be doing. That same energy that we're wasting procrastinating or beating ourselves up, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, is the same amount of energy that we can use doing that task instead. Now, the reason why we beat ourselves up so much and we have this idea and notion of we're wasting time, etc., etc., is because we were raised in a society that's based off time. You've got to go to lunch at this time. When we went to school and stuff like that, you got to study at this time. Time. So as soon as we popped out and they put us into the education system, we have to achieve this amount of grades by the end of this year. At this time we have exams, time. Everything was timed, yeah? So we continue having that notion. Then we get into the workplace, everything's timed then, yeah? So we have deadlines, etc., etc., yeah? But like I said, we are spiritual beings living in a physical reality. So these physical constraints that we're putting on our spiritual body, yeah, is what's affecting us. If we was to think and act through spirit first and then through the physical. Because the only thing what we need to remember is the physical reality, yeah, is still, it takes longer. It takes longer to what? To move, to maneuver, for change to happen. While we are evolving mentally, nature is just catching up, yeah? So we are evolving, and then nature is evolving as well, yeah? But what do I mean by that? I mean the mainstream society and the mainstream views and the mainstream ideology and beliefs, yeah, takes longer to catch up. Back in the day, people didn't even believe in germs or anything like that, or they didn't know, they didn't have no idea. They just used to do a surgery on one person, go to the next, and they didn't even know they was transferring diseases. They had no recollection or knowledge of that. And the first people that tried bringing it out, they ridiculed them. So what I'm just trying to say is, in the society that we live in, time and all of these things are weighed heavily on us. And yes, it is true, time does exist, yeah? We do age, we do grow old, etc., etc. However, what I'm trying to also say is that I has the ability to what? To slow down and speed up time as well. Why? And this is just pure facts, yeah? Because we don't all have the same notion of time. And this is facts, right? Because it might be, what time is it here? Let's say 5 o'clock, yeah? 6 o'clock down here, yeah? But then in somewhere else, it's like 8 a.m., yeah? That's what I'm trying to say. Time is still relative. So even though we act like time is concrete, time is actually still relevant, yeah? And we waste so much time worrying about the time that we've apparently wasted. But that time's already gone. But the time that's for the future is still, like, it's still there. The present moment is still, it's there. Right now, right now, right now, right now. Every day, I wake up as if you no longer are a slave to your old beliefs and your old patterns, because every day is a new day, yeah? Wake up anew, wake up afresh. Yes, it's so hard to kick habits because that's just how we were built, because if we had to learn things every single day over and over again, it would be extremely exhaustive, yeah? But then that same benefit works against us, yeah? So same way we learn how to walk and stuff like that, and we don't forget how to walk, thankfully, because our memory, our brain holds that memory, yeah? So when we wake up every day, it's not like we have to learn how to walk again, yeah? However, when it comes to bad habits that we want to kick, that we want to break, yeah, this is when it becomes a problem. It weighs us down because these things are automatic, and then we're beating ourselves up like, oh my God, I've done this again. But you need to remember that you are on auto. If you're acting on autopilot, you will repeat the same actions. It's just don't beat yourself up. There's no point of beating yourself up about something that's inevitable. It's inevitable. If it's in your subconscious, you're going to do it naturally. If you have a habit that you do, yeah, it is going to be the first thing that you're going to want to do. Why? Because it's a habit. It's the neurons have already been formed. Even if you give up that habit, if you trigger yourself again, you're going to have to try and quit all over again. All over again. It's not just going to be like, oh, forming up the new habit again. No. Because those neurons, those set paths have already been set. Yeah? So that's why it's harder. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible. But it also doesn't mean that you need to beat yourself up just because you keep fucking up, apparently. Yeah? Because trust me, everything happens for a reason. Every single thing happens for a reason. And what I also say is, how do we even know that things aren't really that, like, yeah, are things planned out? Are things not? I don't know. Because there's arguments for it, against it. Things aren't planned out because we feel like we're consciously making decisions, right? But then at the same time, what happens with deja vu then? How the hell does deja vu exist? How comes you can have a scene happening right now, but then you have the exact memory of it happening before? How? If we're making those decisions there then. I personally, I'm not too sure. I think it's a mixture of both, just like a mixture of everything. Like, I just genuinely feel like we're on this earth and we decide what is right or wrong. But really and truly, there's beliefs and there's fors and against for every single choice that we make. For every single choice that we make, there's truth to it and then there's lies to it. But what I'm trying to say, going back to the whole fact that we have a lot of options now. In the generation that we're being raised on, we're raised that we can do anything and we can be anything that we want to be, which is absolutely great. But it's a lot. When we're scrolling, this gives us too much information. The phone gives us so much information to intake. So it's so hard for us to really sit there and be like, yo, what is it that I actually want to do? Because one minute you decide, oh, I want to do this. Yeah, now I want to be an artist. And the next minute you see online somebody doing stock trading and they've made a milli. So now you're like, oh, actually, maybe I should do the stock trading thing. Yeah, then you try that and you realize you're not really that passionate for it. So then you drop that out. Then something else catches your eye. Because there's so many things out there. There's so many things out there to consume. And just also remember that that is also something that you will fall for. That is another trap that you'll fall for. Because you're humanistic. We are here we desire. We can't switch that desiring thing off. Because even if you try and say, oh, I'm gonna stop wanting things, that's still a desire to stop wanting things. It's still a desire. You're still desiring. There's certain things that are inevitable. So there's no point beating yourself up about it. So what is it that you should just do to overcome certain things? Yeah, I just decided this. These are the things that I am genuinely passionate about. And I know that every day that I wake up, I'm not going to be flimsy off it one day. There's certain things that I do like certain days, but I know for a fact I don't like it on others. There's certain things that we can do regardless, whether we're stressed out, whether we're happy, whether we're whatever. Those are the things that we're passionate about. Those are the things that we don't need a lot of energy to do it. Those are the things that we should be focusing on. But anything that requires you so much energy, if you feel like you're using so much energy to do something, yeah, and it's not coming at ease, then that's not for you. Or it's just not the right time. Or, you see what I'm saying? Feel out for things, because when things feel good, when things feel right, that is the time to act. When things don't, settle yourself. Don't touch anything. Because to manifest from a place of lower vibration, all you're going to do is manifest shit. You're going to manifest shit, so there's no point. If you're feeling depressed, low, like you don't know what's going on and you really don't want to move about and all of this stuff, don't move. Don't move. But then there's a problem then, because then you feel like, oh, when you have responsibilities and all of this stuff, right? Let's say you've got a job, you've got a family to look after, etc., all of these things. Then how can I then put myself first? Then you need to sit there and you need to think to yourself, am I right now depressed? Am I really feeling like how I'm feeling now is for a long-term feeling, or is it a short-term feeling? Is there anything that I can do to overcome this feeling? And even if I do overcome this feeling, am I still going to feel this feeling again a couple of weeks later? Because that's another thing, because if you do have a job and a responsibility and you know that, listen, you've been fucking up and you really can't afford to lose this job, and you know that you really do love it, but things have just been a bit hectic and you've been a bit of an idiot, that's different, yeah? But you know that, 5 weeks down the line, you're still going to feel like, you want this job, yeah? But if you know you're in a job where you know for a fact 5 weeks down the line, you're still going to be feeling like this. 5 months down the line, you're still going to be feeling like this. You know, deep in your heart that, this calling is not for you, yeah? Then let it go. But also understand this, yeah? That if you have responsibility, make sure that you are letting something go to be able to to have something else to fall back on. Why? Because if you let it go in angst, because you're in angst, yeah? All that's going to do is cause you more angst, because when it all sinks in and all finally sets in, and then you've created more problems for yourself. We don't want that, yeah? So one must always maneuver and understand that life is like a game of chess. We're always playing moves. And you need to always understand that there is no such thing as winning or losing. But at the end of the day, you can even feel like you are winning or losing at the time. Yes? Yes. So maneuver in ways that always make you feel like you're making the winning decision. When you're feeling low, and you're feeling in a low vibration, you're feeling like, I can't move, I can't do this, I can't see a way out, I can't do. It's because this is the same thing that you're feeding yourself. It is you that is causing this. It is only you. You can blame it on this, all of these outside forces, yeah? But it doesn't matter, because if somebody else was in your place and the same things were happening, they could be reacting in a completely different way. We all can. In fact, even you could probably have had the same things. Like, you've been going to work for however long, and then all of a sudden now you don't want to go, yeah? Yeah? If it's had been a switch like that. So what's happened? The job still stayed the same, but you've changed, right? You've changed. So what am I trying to say is that I is always in control of our emotions. But just understand that I can't just switch it off just like that, yeah? Well, some of us can, but then we get called crazy. But listen to me. Just slow down that train. If you're feeling depressed, I'm not telling you to go jump out and go do and all of this stuff. No, yeah? I'm just telling you to pick yourself up and look at yourself and meditate. Oh my God, meditate. Meditate. Recenter yourself, realign yourself, remind yourself that you are in control, because I'm telling you, we also have that thing of liking to feel like victims. Yeah, we also have that tendency, yeah, when people are babying us, when we're getting a lot of sympathy, when we're getting a lot of cuddling and all of these stuff, when we feel like we're watching all of these memes and all of these things and we're relating like, oh my God, yes, we feel it also gives us some sort of pleasure. Yeah, especially if you've lived in a very traumatic life, you will have a tendency, a pull towards drama, self-sabotaging. Yeah, you will have that pull, that tendency to sort of do something that you know you probably shouldn't be doing because it's going to give you some sort of consequence. But because you're so used to having consequences and bullshit and chaos, it doesn't matter to you. It's like you're pulling that towards you, you're pulling more of that towards you. So understand, our life, what we attract is who we are inside. Nothing happens to us out of punishment. Listen to I very carefully. Nothing happens to us out of punishment. Everything's just happening to us because we are drawing it into us for our own lessons in life. It's to get us to where we need to be, and we all have a certain destination. We don't have a destination. This is it. We don't have a destination. Now is the only thing that ever matters. That's it. How are you feeling now? Are you in your power, or have you given your power to somebody else? Are you sure you don't know what it is that you want to do in life? Or do you just feel like you are not worthy of what it is that you want to do in life? Or do you just feel like everything is daunting and you don't have the work rate, you don't have the effort, you don't have the support, you don't have the backing, you don't have the funds? Funds usually being a main big thing. But if you don't have the funds, but then you're doing nothing in order to gain those funds, people ask. Make money. Ask for investors. Research. Show the universe. This is the craziest thing is, everybody gets to success differently. You can try and follow somebody's step by step guide, and that doesn't guarantee that you will get there. Isn't that strange? Why? Because doors open for the paths that we seek in the way that we seek them. So what I'm basically saying to you is this: you might not have all the answers right now, no one ever does. But once you start making those active steps to go for the things that you actually want, doors will automatically open. Doors that you never saw before. Why? Because while we are in the game, our higher self, I, is out of the game. Yeah? Also working. And I can see the bigger picture. But if I is in the game and all I'm doing is just seeing what's around here, and then I'm thinking, I'm not even going to bother going that door because, like, it's probably going to be hectic. But then I is there thinking, go that door because there's beautiful pastures. Everything you desire is on that other door. But because you're seeing all the freaking fences, the hurdles, and you're just like, I'm not going to move. I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to sit. Years go by. All you had to do was go over those hurdles and get to that door. And everything that you'd ever desired is right there. So, in that sense, we need to really just remind ourselves that, no matter how low it is that I'm feeling, no matter how much I feel like I can't see a way out, or there's just too many options, or, I'll figure it out, what I mean, whatever, just understand that I can always decide to be in my higher self. I can always decide to what? To just be. Recenter, realign, and live in that moment. Raise yourself. See yourself as your higher self and act from that moment. Act from there. Seek the answers from there. But raise your vibration. No outside sources raise your vibration, I. It's just a trick that we're doing. We say, oh, this makes us happy, and then we become happy. But you are the one that decides what makes you happy. You're the one that decides what makes you sad. You're the one that says you're confused. It's always us. It's I. It's I. I is always control of I. It's I. No other I. I am more of an influence to myself than anything else around me. Than anything or anybody else. So, just understand, when we're chasing our goals, when we're chasing our dreams, and you feel like giving up, and you feel like, oh no, this is long, I'm telling you, what else is there to do? What else have you got? What else is there to do? What else are you meant to be doing with your time? If you feel like there's something else that you should be doing with your time, then that's what you should be doing with your time, I. But for you to be sitting there saying, oh, this is long, I want to give up. And then fuck it, let me not do nothing. But I, that's just you not loving yourself. That's just you not seeing yourself of worthy enough to live in the moment. Of worthy enough to appreciate the life that I has. Appreciate the life that I gave to I. I loved myself so much that I said, I want to experience life in the physical. I want to create. I want to touch. I want to feel. I want to hear. I want to see. I want to be part of the physical. I want to leave I echo in the air. So, if I came in here in that belief, then what beliefs did I pick up along the side that told I that I is worthless? That I is lazy? That I shouldn't even bother getting up? I shouldn't even bother making my bed? I shouldn't even bother eating good? I shouldn't even bother drinking water? I shouldn't even bother going out for a jog or going gym or being active? I shouldn't even bother doing any what? Because through all of those actions, love ourselves. But then what other actions are you doing? In the day, write down your actions day to day. What actions do you do predominantly? Are they loving actions to I? Or are they hateful actions to I? And just understand, if you're doing more hateful actions than loving, it's only because you was probably raised in a very traumatic background. Yeah? An environment that didn't allow you to love yourself. An environment that led you to have all of these insecurities, these different needs, these traumas, these things that I needs to heal from within. So, understand that now that I must take responsibility for our actions and analyze and be like, oh, this has happened, but my parents are what? Are still my parents. And they're also learning their own lessons. They're also living, they came here too, blank slate. They learned what they learned from their environments as well. I. Their experiences led them to have the beliefs and have the behaviors that they picked up on. Just like the same with you. Let's not try and... Because it's so easy for us to pick a blame. But then are you analysing your own actions and seeing how you react to certain things? And seeing that, hey, my behaviours as well are learned behaviours. Learned behaviours that I've picked up on in order to help me in certain situations. I might be a bitch, but why was I a bitch? Because I grew up in a harsh environment, so being a bitch protected myself. Yeah, but still understand that, is there a need to be a bitch? How is being a bitch, is it serving me? Is it serving me? If it's no longer serving me, then I must let that go. I must let that vibration go. And I must always rise, because it's so easy to get stuck in adulthood life and think, okay, now I've got my personality, this is it, But just always be self-analyzing. Self-analyze. How am I feeling? Am I happy? Let me go and really look at my life, yeah? What's making me unhappy? What's making me happy, yeah? Let me do more of the things that make me happy and less of the things that make me unhappy. And let me actually have a real 360 peripheral view of everything, and be brutally honest with myself. Because, like they say, we're living on borrowed time. Yeah? We don't even know How long? Yeah, you never know, I. So just always be happy in the moment. In the moment. And understand that you're always going to desire. You're always going to desire. There's never going to be a moment where you're not desiring anything. It's humanistic nature. So yes, go after your desires, but don't go after the ones that are just in the moment, that aren't of higher vibrations, that aren't going to lead you to the. It's not even about. Just go after the desires that you know at the moment make you feel good, yeah, and you know long term wise they're gonna keep making you feel good, yeah. Try and look at the now moment, but also look at the future. Is it matching? Is it correlating? Yeah. It's easy to sort of go off a whim and just kind of dilly-dally through life. But if you did that dilly-dally for life, you'll go anywhere. Yeah? You'll end up anywhere, which is absolutely fine. There, like I said, there is no wrong, there is no right. But if you know there is somewhere that if you was on your deathbed, and you know you didn't achieve this one thing, and you know that it would kill you, yeah? What's that one thing that you see people doing that really gives you a burn in your chest because you're just like, I know I could be doing that. I know I could be doing that. That's what you should be going after. And we all have it. We all have it. But what's the time that you're spending on? How much time are you spending scrolling on the net and watching other people? How much time are you watching other people live their dreams, live their life, manifest? How many? How much time are you spending, I? Are you investing time in yourself, in your dreams, in your potentials? So in order to let the universe see that this is truly what you want. Because what you go after, where energy goes, where attention flows, energy goes. Yeah, where attention flows, energy goes. Whatever you pay attention to, I will manifest. It will manifest, whether positive, whether nice, whether anything like that. It doesn't matter. It will manifest. So be careful. If you want to spend all your time in aggro, worried about your ex that's a dickhead and they keep coming back, but you know they're a dickhead and they're treating you like shit, then that's going to keep manifesting. You're going to keep flowering that. You'll keep watering that. However, if you pay attention to the situation that, it's a nice situation, the person treats you good, etc., you'll experience more of that. You'll experience more of that. Whatever you put attention to, you will experience more. If you're sitting there saying, oh my God, I'm broke and I'm this and this, and all you're doing is spending, like, the money that you do have, you spend it on other people and other things, and you don't even invest in yourself, and all you keep saying is, I'm broke and broke, you're never going to make any money because you're not saying that you're worthy. You're spending money on everybody else but yourself. So you're showing yourself. Remember the eyes, I. What I sees is what I believes. So understand that you might think that you're lying to yourself, right? Like, oh, I want to be rich. Or I want a loving partner. But then every time your eyes open, they see you squandering, lazy about, not doing nothing. Yeah, spending your money on everything. Every money you get, you spend it on somebody else, yeah? When they open their eyes, they see that you're only replying to the dickhead guy, or you're only paying attention or stalking the dickhead guy that treats you bad. I is going to be thinking, no, this is what I wants. What I is seeing is what I wants. I is not going to be thinking that, oh yeah, this and this and that. No, I. You can't lie to I because I is always present. We can only lie to each other. Because you can't go into somebody's head and say, oh yeah, this is exactly what they're thinking. Do you see what I'm saying? Fact by fact by fact. You can assume and all of this stuff and not even just assume, but you can obviously, psychic is there. But what I'm trying to say is for however they've pictured it in their head, yeah, or worded it, whatever, you can't get it word for word every time, yeah? So, in that sense, all I'm trying to say is, we make this big issue, yeah, about where we're going in life, how we're going to get there, who's going to be there with us, all of these things. And we completely forget about us. We are the main character. We have all these desires of what we want in other people, yeah, what we want our jobs to give us, what we want our relationships to give us, what we want our friendships to give us, what we want money to give us. We have all these desires, And yet, the one person that can give us all these things, yeah, the emotion that we're looking for, that we're chasing so much, which is just love, peace, happiness, is what I gives to I. I can give it to myself. All of these things, am I giving it to myself? So instead of looking for it from outside sources, yeah, I'm always going to feel like, I'm always going to feel like I'm chasing something. I'm always going to feel like I'm lost. I'm always going to feel like I'm confused. As long as I keep thinking that these outside things, yeah, are going to be the reason for my happiness. No, I have to get happy first. I have to be secure within myself. So no matter what is going on around me, I am still I. Yeah? So when I'm at a high vibrationary state, no matter what's going on, whether I'm broke, whether I've just been heartbroken, as long as I show I and I that, yo, I is I am a God. I am in control of I emotions. I am in control of I reality. I am in control of I flow, I energy. I am in control of I space. I am in control of I from the head all the way to the toes. I am in control of I aura. I am in control of I borders. I am in control. I is in control of I. And I can only control I. And that's okay, because all I ever need to be able to control is I. Because in controlling I, in fact, control my entire reality. Because it doesn't matter what is going on outside there, as long as what is going on inside here is positive. It doesn't matter what is going on outside there, I and I. As long as in here I feel at one. As long as in here I feel at peace. As long as in here I know exactly who it is that I am in any given moment. As soon as I start to pretend that I don't know who I am, and I start to play victim, I start to feed into these roles, into these negative notions of feeling worthless, useless, unloved, lonely, depressed, unstable, financially stable, broke, etc. Yeah, ugly. Yeah, as soon as I start feeding into these notions, that's when I am behaving less than I am. Yeah, and I will drop low, and more negative notions will attach to me, and I will continue to drop. So I must always remember that I never came here to struggle. I never came here to be angry or to be hateful. I never came here to hurt. I came here to grow. I came here to learn. And in that growing and learning, I do hurt. I do be hateful. I do get angry. And that's okay. Why? Because in those motions, I can then also appreciate the sweetness of feeling happy, the sweetness of feeling joy, the sweetness of feeling love, the sweetness of feeling freedom. So I'm telling you this, I and I. If I feels like I am not on the right path, I don't know where I'm supposed to go, who I'm supposed to be. I and I, you are exactly who it is that you are supposed to be right exactly in this moment now. If you are deciding that you want to be somebody else, then okay, go and be that from this moment. But it's not that you was ever meant to be that person, I and I. No, that's delusional. You're lying to yourself. Exactly who you are in the moment is exactly who you was meant to be. Nobody else. You was not meant to be living no other life. Oh, I was meant to be rich by now. No, I, you was meant to be exactly where you are right now. Oh, I was meant to be married by now. No, I, you was meant to be exactly where you are right now. However, do you want marriage? All right then, work along those steps. Do steps. Live a life that is in congruence to your wants. And what do I mean by that? You say you want marriage, you say you want love. But are you chasing outside love, like I said again, or are you loving yourself? Because, darling, I'm telling you something like this. The more you love yourself, the more attractive you are, the more people you pull in, the more energies. And then from that loving space, you'll be able to attract people of your vibrationary state. When we diss the partners that we get with and the people that we attract, it's crazy because we're just dissing ourselves. Because I could never attract a soul that does not match with me vibrationally wise. It can never happen. When you separate, that means you're no longer in the same vibrations. But when you met you was in the same vibrations. End of discussion. So you trying to say, oh, this person is this like this, and this person is like this, and this person, then you must look at yourself and also understand, oh shit, what in me matched me to this energy? Because we don't get pushed into things like, even those things like, if you're an empath, you attract loads of people that have lower vibration and all of this stuff. That means that's still something within you that's out here still playing Captain Save-A-Hole. So what's in you that feels so much that you need to do saving? That means that you desire wanting to be saved. And in that saving somebody else, you're just doing it backwards. Because people forget. People think that they're doing something for somebody else, but we're always doing things for ourselves. Everything is always to do with us. We are the center of our own universe. So while you think you're mad at somebody else, so you think, oh no, I helped this person, everything was on me, yeah. While you was helping that person you heal, yeah, you was actually healing yourself. While you was pouring all that love, that's the love that you was trying, yeah. You put them as your object of desire, as love. You made them your person of love. You personified them as love instead of I self. Yeah. So when you made that person into love and then decided this is my object of love, yeah, and then you poured love into them and you poured love into them and you healed them and you helped them become the better person. Now because they've been loving themselves and also been getting your love, now they've flourished while you've depleted yourself. Why? Because while you were so busy pouring love into them, you wasn't pouring any love into yourself. Because that person that you was pouring love into didn't deserve your love. And the more you poured love into them and saw them flourishing and saw yourself diminishing, the more you diminished because you knew it wasn't right. Because you, like I said, you can't lie to yourself. So when your eyes are seeing the fact that you're loving on somebody else and everything's word and their action and everything matters so much because how they move, how they speak to you will instantly change your mood. Then all of a sudden they see, oh, I shouldn't love myself. I should just love other people. Because that's what your eyes are seeing. Your eyes aren't seeing you love yourself. They're seeing you get taken for a dickhead and go back to the person and show them love. So they're thinking, oh yeah, so I should treat myself. It doesn't matter if you're gassing everybody else up and telling your friends, oh, I'm a No, because your eyes see tall. So when your friends think, wow, why does this person keep getting dickheads and I thought they're like a bad bitch and yeah, because they're not. Behind closed doors, they're not. They're needy, clingy, crazy. Do you understand? So, 38 minutes. I'm going to cut it there. Leave with that. But like I said, don't beat yourself up. Don't be hard on yourself. Understand that I is I. And I always knows what's best for I. All I need to do is recenter, align, and understand and vibrate from that level state. Rise I vibration. Meditate, 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 meditate. Eat good. Eat good. Be healthy. Good intake, good outtake. Good intake, good outtake. With everything you watch, you see, you interact with, everything I. Good intake, good outtake. And with that I say, I